Hi class, let's solve an equation using the quadratic formula. So earlier this week our instructor posted some examples and I solved one of them, x squared minus 3 equals 0. I solved it using the square root property and posted that video as my first discussion post. So now let's solve the same equation using the quadratic formula. What we need to do is figure out which of these numbers here we're going to use to plug into our formula. So we need to figure out how they fit into this standard quadratic expression. So we need to figure out what A, B, and C are in this equation here. So A is going to be equal to 1. B is going to represent the other multiple of the variable, but there isn't one, so B is going to be equal to 0, and C is equal to our constant, which in this case is -3. So what we do is we plug these variables into our quadratic equation. X equals -0 plus or minus the square root of B, again, is equal to 0. 0 squared minus 4 times A, which is equal to 1, times C, which is equal to -3. And all of that divided by 2 times A, which is equal to 1. Now, this looks very daunting and confusing because of all of the zeros. What we can do for this equation is get rid of the zeros. Let's do another clean post-it over here to rewrite this equation. X equals plus or minus the square root of -4 times 1 times -3 divided by 2 times 1. This looks a lot easier to solve. So -4 times 1 is equal to -4 times 3. -4 times -3 equals 12. And on the bottom here, 2 times 1 equals 2. So x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 12 divided by 2. What we need to do now is try to simplify this radical. Are there any perfect squares inside the 12 or the 2? And there is. If you factor out 12, so 4 times 3, 4 is a perfect square. So we can take the square root of 4 out of that radical. So x is going to be equal to plus or minus 2 times the remaining factor of 12, which was 3, or the square root of the remaining factor of 12, which was 3, divided by 2. And we can simplify this further because this numerator 2 and the denominator 2 are going to cancel each other out. So just like that, they disappear. And we've got x equals plus or minus the square root of 3. And using the quadratic formula, our equation is solved. That is our answer. Thanks, guys.